Oh dear God. Hi, good evening and welcome to the IBD Ostomy support show. I'm Louise, aka Crohn's Fighting. We've not been as active recently on the show, so apologies for that. Oh, I can hear feedback.
Oh, that might be me.
Oh God, did that get the threesomes bit on the? Oh God, we're live. I'm sorry, I'm shutting up now. Anyway, I'm Louise, aka Crohn's Fighting. So what have I been up to recently? Oh, I've been busy. I've had a lot of work. Every time I close my eyes at the moment, I can see bank statements and numbers. And every time I've got my eyes open, I'm having punch-ups of my computer trying to sort things out. So yeah, so what have I been up to? So I've been unprepped from the operation. I've gone and had all my hair cut off because one of the first things that happens to me when I have surgery is my hair falls out and I get bald patches up the back. I'm the only girl that goes and pays 90 quid at the hairdressers to have her roots extended out because I can't guarantee when I'm next going to sit in the hairdresser's chair. So I thought, nah, I'll just have the brown just pull through a bit more. Went to the Purple Wings event. I have actually just ordered and paid for a Purple Wings hoodie, so that'll see me through the winter. So if you want those, they're 30 quid. To go into the PW group, you can get one of those. And then other than that, I've just been busy and just not been great recently. I think just stresses of everything is just sort of there. So that's about it. What else? So tonight we are going to be discussing pros and cons of a stoma. So there's a lot of people that don't see cons, but then there's then swing the coin, and then there's loads of people that do see the cons. So we'll be discussing that. We have Graham joining us as guest host today. Steffi's off; she's not feeling great, so loves to Steffi. And I hope you're feeling better soon. And I shall pass you over to Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rachel from someone's clicked my TV, Walking Two Stomas, and it's not going away. Hi, I'm Rachel from Walking Two Stomas, and what have I been up to for the last few weeks? Really, really busy. Can you hear me okay? Because I haven't got my headphones in.
Yeah, we can hear you fine, lovely.
So I've been quite busy, and I probably have done the usual Rachel, and when she's got stuff going on, maybe done a little bit more work than I should. So this weekend I'm having a digital detox. And I'm starting that tomorrow.
New word alert.
No, I'm going to be using it all the time. New word. And I enjoy everything that I do. I really, really, really love. But I'm finding that I'm just getting busier and busier, and a few things coming up and a few presentations. I'm just stressing slightly about that. I'm just getting done and sort it out. And I had an infection last week where my temperature spiked again, and I caught it in time. And Steve's making loads of noise again. I caught it in time. And I managed to take the antibiotics and temperature's gone down. But my GP's referring me to a neurologist, possibly in London or Southampton. I'm not sure which one. See if there's anything that there's something else going on as to why I get this septic response to an infection. And it's probably my conditions, but to see if anybody can give me any medication, because my body can't keep up with this and this kind of hammering. And it's a simple infection that he said wouldn't affect anybody else. My body just takes it as like a big response. So it's more than an autoimmune response. He said it needs to be looked at properly. So I've got that in the pipeline. But I'm really happy. I started doing yoga. I started Monday. Why are you laughing?
Because Graham sent me something the other day about goat yoga, and I nearly dropped my phone when he said it.
I've seen that. Goat yoga. It's wrong.
So I started yoga, and it's good. Like it was a 30-day thing on YouTube, every day for 30 days, and I can't do that because I'm really sore today. So I've done 2 days, and I did an extra day Monday. So I'm gonna have a break, and I'm just want to try and just a bit of time for me and de-stress and get back to the self-care side of stuff. So that's what I'm doing. And I just want to give love to Val, because I know Val has been through quite a lot recently. Graham, I was going to give a shout out to you, but you're on the show, so okay, that's like we'll forget about that. We'll talk about that after. And anybody else that's in hospital that's struggling, we're just thinking of you. And I'll pass you over to Natalie.
Hi, good evening. It's Natalie, aka the Spoonie Mummy.
we've been busy this week. We've had the kids, so it's been a bit manic, but the summer holidays are officially over for us.
Oh,
The kids went back yesterday. They've got their last week and a half now with their dad, so and then they go back to school. So yeah, it's just a bit like. But today we've been at my grandma's to sort some more of her stuff out. She collected porcelain dolls. So me, my mum and my auntie, being the girls, had to go and do that job. So we've been like trying to box them up with the right names, and it's been a right headache. Bless him. Steve's backwards and forwards with boxes, and but we've managed to sort them anyway. And I've got 5, but one of them is like my favourite, so I've got that to keep, which is nice sort of memory. That's about it, really. I don't think otherwise I've been pretty good, which is all right. My eye's been a bit up and down with the pressure this week.
Is that iritis?
No, I've got a problem with it where the pressure goes up and down. It's because they've got to do a little operation. One of the holes is blocked, so they've had to do some laser surgery to like poke holes basically in my eye with a laser because the drainage hole for it is blocked, so it can build up.
so painful.
They thought it had done it when I went to the opticians the other week, and they'd referred me straight back to the hospital, and the hospital were like, no, it's fine. But I think it's just because I've been getting like a sinusy headache all week, and Steve's had a bit of a cold, and I think it's just attacked my sinuses, but then it just sort of so yesterday and today I've just sort of been a bit like, oh, but I'm feeling a little bit better this afternoon, so that's not so bad. And that's about it. I did a big post this week, which I was really proud of, and got to work with Pep & Co, who I shop in quite a lot anyway, but for them to contact me and ask to do something was really cool. So that was really good. But other than that, like I say, we've got a free weekend this weekend because I should have the boys, but where it's worked out with the holidays, we won't have them. So I'm just trying to catch up on housey stuff and blog stuff and jobs and whatnot. So yeah, I'll pass you over to Steve.
Hello. Have I got feedback there?
You have.
What's going on here then? Right, let's have a quick look. Oh, there you go. Is that better?
It was
That's
me.
better.
It was me.
Okay, blaming mans then.
No, because I put the
Right.
music up to get the pop-up chat and I muted myself. Sorry.
I'm Steve, aka Baghdaddy. Writing. What have I been doing this week? Mine's been a lot of travelling, to be fair.
Steve, I think you need to clean your lens off.
Very blurry.
Oh,
You're
God.
very
No, I
blurry.
did. I tell you what, have a go at Steve Day today, I think. Right, let's try again.
It's only because we love you.
Is that better?
You want to see your
Yeah,
beautiful-
we can see your face now.
Right. So I went to Western, took the kids to Western for a long weekend. The weather was miserable, but we had a good laugh anyway. It was a good time. Went to Wookey Hole. Come out of Wookey Hole because the sun was glorious, thinking, right, and we'll go to the beach. We'll get on the beach, have some sun. By the time we got back to Western, it was miserable again. So we were the only ones on the beach in our coats and hats in the rain. But it was a good weekend. I went to see my surgeon Tuesday. He informed me that this is the surgeon that's going to be doing my my peristomal hernia repair. He informed me that my operation has been put back to the October 25th. So I was a bit gutted about that, but you know, it's one of them. Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me? Because nobody's slagging me off.
No, we can hear you. But just think, you're a bit closer to having it done with me, so we can be phone buddies and we can be swear buddies.
Yeah, I'm gutted. Everyone else gets before me, but I just wanted, I don't like hospitals at the best of times, so I was kind of like geared myself up. But
You were on countdown and everything, weren't you?
Yeah, I'd started my countdown. People was like, "Oh God, we got this every day." I said, "No, I'm going to do it every 3 days."
Steve, I'll let you in for a little secret. I was meant to have mine done in September, but I refused because I won't have any surgery done in September.
Really?
Yeah, it was. I think it was something like the 12th. I think it was. They said 11th or 12th, and I said no.
Mine was like an influx of cancer operations happening, and it's the only day that the two surgeons, the one that's going to be doing my protectomy, what is it now? Total
Pancreectomy.
No, proctectomy. And he's going to be doing that first, and then the other guy is going to be doing my hernia repair afterwards. But it's the only day that they can both collaborate together, so that's the day it's going to happen. Fingers crossed that goes ahead on time. And we've got a short weekend this weekend from work. We've got Monday off, so I got my tattoo booked for Monday, which is going to cover up my manky arm. You know the dodgy muscle one. It was either have surgery to repair it or have a...
No, get it right. It's to cover up the terrible rose tattoo.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it's to cover up.
The rose is tiny. The rose is tiny. It'd be lost in the trees that well. But I'm having a Viking, and the hair is kind of trees with a wolf. It's really, really
nice.
dark and menacing. So I'm looking forward to that.
I want to go and get a meat done.
A what?
Meat.
What's that?
Penguin.
Is that Roadrunner?
No, it's penguin.
I thought Roadrunner as well.
Get
My
a goat.
dad's favourite programme. Meat.
Yeah. I know you're on about. You're on about Pingu, ain't you?
Yeah, well, somebody did suggest to me about getting a pengu done holding a bazooka just around my stoma site, but I think that might be going just a bit too far considering the next lot of surgery that I'm having done. I don't think my surgeon would be able to take opening me up seriously if I had that wrapped around my stoma.
Just have open here. So that's been my week. I've started doing a bit of flooring for a friend, so it's going to be quite a busy week. That's pretty much me. And Graham, if you'd like to introduce yourself, it's all you, kid.
I'm Graham, G-Man Bag for Life.
Yeah.
What kind of week have I had? Quiet, but Saturday night I started feeling well. Lots of back pain, and I knew straight away infection time. I was up nearly most of the night just drinking, and got up on the Sunday morning. First catheter of the day, I thought this is going to be fun, and pushed the catheter in. It all came out. It was just like dark blood and black, and I knew straight away it was the infection. So I was lucky enough to get back up antibiotics from my GP 2 weeks ago because she was going on leave. So I started them on Sunday, and there's been a huge improvement since, but still something's not quite right, so I don't know whether it's the right antibiotic or not. But I don't finish them until Sunday, and I'm going to see the GP next week. So it's just been a case of resting and drinking lots. Yesterday was
abusing me with some really obscene goats.
Yes. Yesterday was probably one of my worst down days. It was 29 years since I was diagnosed diabetic and Crohn's disease on the same day, and that was tough going, but I'm over that now.
Yeah, you bounce back, don't you, kid?
You do indeed.
Can I ask you, are you wearing a sash?
A sash?
It looks like you're wearing one of them like beauty sashes over your shoulder. Is it?
It's a football top.
It's
a decent football team.
Is it Newcastle?
It is.
There you go.
What was that?
That's sacrilege, that is.
We'll have no advertising on here, you know.
I mean, I nearly went for them on Football Bet of the weekend because you predicted that they would win.
Don't do my predictions, please.
I'll blame you now.
So it's been a quiet week. Next week, meeting a fellow Stoma girl. It's the Metro Centre. I met at the Stoma Open Day a few weeks ago. I don't know whether you know Kim.
Yeah, Kim. I like him.
Yeah,
Kim, what's the are we allowed to say surname?
I don't know.
I know who you mean by Kim.
Yeah,
I know who you mean.
She's not been very active recently, has she? She's just back up again.
yeah.
Oh, I think I know who you mean.
I'm meeting up with her for coffee on Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm going on a road trip to Scotland with my brother.
Wow,
Yeah.
nice.
Forward to that. Thursday, sadly, I've got a funeral. And then Friday, I'm at the hospital because I'm having a sleep study done. Problems with me breathing during the night.
Okay.
They don't know whether I'm stopped breathing for a few seconds during the night. So they're going
I like sleep apnea, is it?
Yeah, they're going to put up this, connect us to some machine for the night and see what that brings. And that's it for me.
I never know how they're going to get correct readings from that, because you're in a strange environment. You have wires all connected to you. I don't see how you could ever really be comfortable in that position.
Well, I don't have to stay in hospital. I'm bringing this machine home.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
It does make me wonder about the sleep apnea, though, because Graham, you said you're diabetic, aren't you?
That's right.
My dad's diabetic, and when my dad had a heart attack, he was diagnosed with sleep apnea, and he was given this machine to help him breathe, because he kept breathing. That's why he snored so loud at night time. Let's just put it this way: when my dad falls asleep, you can close all the doors and the windows, and you can hear him up the road. That's how loud. That's how loud.
Not as loud as Steve.
Be quiet. I could see her eyes pep up then when you mention the word snore. It's just a rumour. It's never been proven.
It's funny you should say that, though, because I didn't hear you snoring when we was in Cardiff.
Oh, he's really bad. Even his kid said to me, he went, how did the snoring device go? He went, it's rubbish. Dad snores so badly. I went, I know.
It's all made up. It's all made lies.
Mind you, it might have been because we was on the main road, so I might not have heard you above the
traffic.
I
didn't snore. I can switch it off and on when I want, to be fair.
It's all the time. I've got to have earplugs all the time. Sorry.
Steve, word of advice when you're going into hospital, if you can get any nasal strips or anything, because I wouldn't want to be in the bed next to you, standing over you with a pillow at 3 a.m.
I don't care when I'm in hospital. It's their problem.
Exactly.
Oh, you're one of those patients.
No, I've really suffered. I've really suffered with struggling to sleep in hospital. So when I finally did get some sleep, because our ward was that noisy, that when I did get to sleep, the chap next to me didn't talk to me at all. But he was the one getting special treatment off the lady that come around with the tea and the biscuits. So I thought, sod him. He said, "Is everything all right?" He says, "You was like a tractor." I said, "Enjoy your extra biscuits."
Yeah.
It's funny. Still.
Oh, I've missed the show.
I'm hoping to God when I'm in this time that I have not got the lady that likes to sleep all day and party all night, because if she's in the bed next to me this time, I will not be held accountable for the pillow in my hands at 4 a.m.
I always request tablets. I've learned through all my admissions that if I get sleeping tablets, it helps me sleep a bit better. But to be honest, to start with, I'm always in a side room because of my C diff, so it's sort of I'm on my own. But have you thought about asking if you can't sleep, asking for sleeping tablets? I just have them when I'm in hospital.
I don't think I can mix that with the fentanyl, because I'm bad enough on the fentanyl and puking my guts up, let alone being knocked out and being sick.
They give you such a small dose though, like 5 mils, isn't it? 5 milligrams, whatever. It's really small. Because I was been on all of that through all the operations, and it's not affected me. But it's just an idea if you can't sleep. And it was my sister who suggested it.
Your whole body clock's not right when you're in hospital, because the fact that you're in bed all day, your body doesn't really know when it should be asleep. You have a little kick when you want one. And
could you sleep during the day? You doze?
That's right. There was a chap opposite me, and bless him, he was about 40, and he'd had a brain aneurysm. It was a real successful businessman, and just one day he'd had a brain aneurysm, and everything went. And
Wow.
He lost everything. You know, he lost the ability to feed himself, to go to the toilet, and he was lying in bed. His partner would come up with the kids, and they'd just sit there with him fast asleep. Of course, then during the night, he was, you know, his arm was in the air, and he was calling out for imaginary people. You know, which you know, I can feel for. I understand it, but at the time when you're trying to recover, you just want peace, don't you? You know, so it's kind of like everyone's stretched. The nurses are stretched. They can't put him in a separate room, you know, and everyone's really sort of vexed because they haven't slept, you know. So when I finally did get some sleep, the chap next to me moaning about my snoring, I just thought, you know what, just get her to put a sleeping tablet in your cup of tea. In your third cup of tea.
As bad as it sounds, the best place to sleep on in the hospital is the high dependency unit, because they only have four beds per room. So there's less people. I know that sounds really bad, but I've been in there enough times to know that you get a better night's sleep on there than you do anywhere else.
In the one in Bournemouth, they have, it's like individual rooms because it's made like it's individual, even though it's like a room that you can't hear anything else. It's really good that how they've organised it.
Oh, I was going to say,
Derby, there's 4 beds per bay in gastro. In Southend, I know there was 6.
6 in mine.
I know up the wall. I know the surgical ward up at St Thomas's. I think it is 10 beds per room.
Wow, 10.
Wow.
Can I just say, when I spoke to my surgeon about the pig mesh that he's going to be using, he said it's A4 size. He said a sheet like that will cost £17,000 for one sheet. Wow, it's a lot, isn't it? But he said with this mesh, if you get infection, they can take it out. It won't, you know, it won't actually what's the word? I'm have to sort of like fuse together until time. It takes a while to fuse, so they can actually take it out if things go wrong. But I thought that's a lot of money, isn't it?
Yeah, they're
crazy.
It makes me wonder how much money they, because I've got so much mesh in me from all the prolapse operations. Makes me wonder how much money that's been. So I've got 8 different refashions with mesh and pigskin and muscle wrapped around and all weird stuff.
I think it's different because I think the biological meshes are more expensive, but the biological mesh is more viable than using the synthetic ones that they would typically use. Like the scandal that's going on at the moment with the women that have had the mesh put in them, the synthetic mesh, and they've had prolapses and infections and everything else.
Yeah. Shall we begin our subject for the evening?
Yes, we should. So, pros and cons of having a stoma. So, I think I've already had a couple of responses on Facebook with regards to it, and somebody said, well, they can't see any cons, and that's a very good point to make. At the end of the day, not everybody will have cons with their stoma, but it is, yet again, it is a 50-50, 60-40, or 70-30, depending on which way you want to swing it. So I think with me, I think the pros, more so when I have the next lot of surgery done, is the fact that I still won't be sitting on the toilet anymore. I'm having issues at the moment where stuff is bypassing my loop, and I've got just as much coming out of my bottom as I have coming out of my stoma, and that's not good, because if you're like us and you're busy and you need to leave home and you need to go out and you need to do things, trying to time your day for evacuating your bowels, which you don't have the same control over as what you did prior to having the stoma put in, that is my cons, is just the fact that I've managed to develop diversion colitis, and that my loop isn't as looped as the one I had before. And it's a weird feeling. It doesn't feel nice, does it, having to sit on the toilet and do that? It's just not a pleasant feeling. You feel sick, I get sweaty, and it's just, and I think the other one, and I do have to apologise to the people in my house at the moment. Thankfully, it's only Ben Maisie's and Turkey at the moment, but I apologise wholeheartedly for my bathroom habits. But the unfortunately, the stuff doesn't work down the toilet as well as what it does in my stoma bag. And unfortunately, I sort of had to dash out of bed this morning, and I know he has a shower before he goes to work in the morning, but I really had to go. It was a case of going to the toilet or going in the bed. So I had to go, and I think Whereas the pros for me having the stoma was especially for the first sort of like 12, 14 months, apart from the diversion colitis in the odd month, I didn't have an issue. It just made life so much easier for me. But I think knowing that I need to have it removed, I think it's just more sort of just wakes up for me that the issues that I am still having. I think that's half the reason why I'm so down at the moment as well, because I don't know when it's going to hit. It's like a ticking time bomb.
Well, I had a new experience this morning. I woke up at 3 o'clock and had to empty my bag. So I was just completely out of it. Went into the bathroom, opened my bag, started emptying it, and then realised I hadn't picked the toilet seat up.
Oh, brilliant.
They go off the side, dead on the floor.
That would be my con. Get tonight. I hate it. It really does. Well, I mean, I've got used to it now, more so, but yeah, that's
a not waking up properly. You can't really do that if your organs are working properly. You can't really. You've got to sort of lift the seat, then, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Having a bag, you can kind of do it with your eyes shut, really, can't you? You can sort of just have a little peek and then
remember to leave the lid on.
Remember to do up the end as well of the bag. That's a big one.
See,
one of them toilet lights.
You'll only do that once, and I did only do it once on the way back from a bath. Once I could feel something dripping, and I was like, I think I've dried myself everywhere, and then realised.
What did you say, Graham?
Get one of them toilet lights. I did the luminous ones when you lift it up. The light.
I did have one of them.
They don't work. I managed to flush mine down the toilet.
Never.
Oh no.
What?
We leave our bathroom light on because obviously me and Steve both go through the night. But I think, do you know, because it's so bright, I think we need like a duller light in there. So it's enough to see what we're doing, but just not enough to wake us up. And
you can get the ones that my parents have. They have one in the hallway because they're in a bungalow, so there's a step to avoid a step, and one in the bathroom, and it's the motion detector one. So when you walk close to it, it comes on, and it lights up quite good, but it's like a dull light, you know, it's not as bright. And then when you leave, it turns off itself, so you don't have to press anything. Brilliant.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
I had those in the hotel at Dublin. You put your feet down on the floor, and the little lights on the floor go on and light your way to the toilet. It's brilliant.
So pros. Now,
pros.
I would say one of the pros for me is, you know, like when you're out, when you're in public toilets or pubs, for instance, you haven't got to sit down on the toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a real big one for me. But I tell you what is a problem, and I've dealt with it time and time again in men's toilets. I've gone into the toilet and the seat's covered in wee. Now, I haven't got to sit down on the toilet. All I've got to do is empty my bag, but I'll still wipe the seat because the next person that goes in thinks that I've done it. You see what I mean? So it's kind of like a half-hearted wipe.
Steve says it's the same.
It's a big one. That it really bothers me because you know, and or you go in there and you're in there like 20 seconds, and I think, bloody hell, that was quick. I don't think he even sat down. Must have just hovered above the seat and dropped his bombs.
I think the other pros for me would be the fact that I'm still alive and kicking.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big pro, yeah.
First one saved my life, and then the second one improved my quality of life until it started to dive back down a little bit. And obviously the third one, it's going to hurt. I know it's going to hurt, but once I've recovered, I'm
in the long run, it's better.
Yeah, I'm not going to have to worry about pooping my pants, because I'm not too sure if I can say the other one. So I don't have to worry about being out and having to go, oh my God, where's the toilet? Because I don't know. I mean, Nat, I know that you have obviously the mucus and stuff that still comes out as well. But do you get that as well? It just literally comes on and there's no control in it.
Can't stop it. No, mine's been has been playing up this past probably a week or two. I've noticed the last twice it's really played up is when I've been on my period.
Oh yeah.
I don't know whether there's a link there, so I'm just going to keep an eye on that and see if that's when it's really at its worst. But yeah, the pain and just sitting there, and the thing is that with mine it won't come, but then I constantly leak just a teeny little bit all the time. It's just not nice.
So I've got something interesting to say, because as you know, like I've divergent colitis as well, blood always in mucus, but because I'm different, because mine wasn't due to IBD, my muscles don't work, so I can't empty, so I have to help it when it comes out, but I have to do it nearly every day because I get the feeling, and it's covered in blood, and it's really quite traumatic. In a way, I would rather not have control and it go, because I've got to, it's just not very nice. And also, I suppose, Louise, is like, you get to have the surgery, I don't get to have the surgery. Like and it's hard knowing that I'm going to end up having this kind of not disease bowel, but the bowel that is really causing me difficulties is like still going to be there. And it's
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I was going to say, have they given you meds for it?
So yeah, I've got the suppositories, but yeah, it doesn't, because of its problems, because it doesn't open at all. So it's problems. But what reason why I'm mentioning it is because when I was at the Purple Wings, Kevin, who's the ASCN nurse, he mentioned to me, because I mentioned to him about the divergent colitis and that they won't do surgery because it's too risky with all my history and my surgeon isn't happy to do it. He talked about a fecal stoma. He had a patient where the same reason they couldn't do surgery because she wouldn't survive it, and they implanted her stoma output in an enema into her and it helped with the bleeding and it helped with divergent colitis. So now I'm getting that presentation to show to my consultant to see if maybe, I know it sounds really weird, but maybe it might help.
No, they do use that though in a lot of people.
Fecal transplant, it was with bottom line IBD, and it was really, really interesting. And both me and Steve said the same thing. If it worked, you would try it, wouldn't you? Because
yeah,
I've never heard it I've heard it before, because when I had C. diff, they thought about doing it to me then, but because of the stoma, they didn't want to. But I'd never heard
would
of
it.
Would
it be like the use of the bacteria, would it?
Yeah, I've never heard of it using the stoma output into the enema and doing it that way. But yeah, it's because your bowel is supposed to have poo in it, and when it's there and it's not being used, that's why the divergent colitis comes up. Some people that have reconnections, the divergent colitis will go when you reconnect because it needs that out. It needs that in it. That's what my surgeon says.
Your bowel is there for a purpose. It is meant to have the feces running through it, and
it's meant to be there, isn't it? That's
the fats and everything that goes through that your body expels is what keeps the bowel healthy. So what divergent colitis is in simple terms, is if your bowel is not being used for that, obviously it's not been removed, it's just been tied off, it throws a massive hissy fit. Not everybody will get it, but it is quite common for people with temporary stomas to have that done.
Well, my stoma's permanent. It's permanent. It's just it's classified as all of my notes as permanent. It's just the fact that they can't remove the last part. But I've got an end.
And that's through risk, though, isn't it, Bob?
Yeah, I've got an endeavour ostomy, so my stoma is permanent. But it's just the fact that I still got bits of the bowel still in. But it's be interesting to see maybe, you know, if I am able to do it and they are happy to do it, if it helps, because then it's me having a little bit of closure, because, you know, Steve's having his done, Louise is having hers done, Natalie, you'll probably be having yours done soon. And it's a bit like, Rachel's always, I'm not simple. My pathway's never been simple, and it's sort of never been easy. But it's kind of like, but it's the same with the prolapse. You know, I've accepted the prolapse, and now I just get on with it. But when I was in it, it was hard, and now I just have to sort of accept that I'm not going to have that part. But Graham, what are your pros and cons?
Sorry, you caught us drinking there.
Sorry.
My pros, I don't know any different, to be honest. You know, it's all I've ever known since I was a baby. The cons is just probably just taking spare equipment with you when you go out. Make sure you've got everything with you. But I cannot see any cons at all. I really cannot.
Sorry.
No, you go.
I constantly remind myself how bad I was before I had my stoma, and that kind of like.
I think that puts it all into perspective.
It really does, yeah. You know, I remember how poorly I felt, and I remember having my surgery and going back to work and feeling like 15, 20 years younger than I did before, and being the only one smiling on a Monday morning when you turn in up for work, because you feel fantastic. And cons, I would say, really, is more psychological than anything. It's really sort of feeling different, but then it's down to yourself then to do things to make yourself feel more confident, to make your confidence shine through. You know, things like what all of us have done. You know, put yourself in the limelight and give you, like, do this, do that, you'll feel better. You know, lift up your top and show people. Do a selfie with your bag out. Things like that. They're all positives, you know, for us, that make us feel better about ourselves. And that's really that's the only sort of negatives I can think about having a bag personally. I'm quite proud of it.
My pros and cons are, a con is a funny one when you go to the toilet and I'm doing it quickly and I'll empty and suddenly it goes and back out and I've got a carpet. So yeah, that's like, and I found good carpet stuff now. So that's, I'm half thinking whether Steve needs to like put the floor, instead of doing his friend's floors, whether he does my floor. It's becoming a big issue now, and I'm thinking, I don't think having a carpet in a bathroom with a stoma is not a good
idea.
I can do your floor, girl.
That is one of my cons, is the amount of cleaning stuff I go through, how many cloths I have to. I've got like one cleaning cloth for every day that goes into a jug by the side of the toilet with the toilet spray and the bleach and the Harpic, and every morning after I've emptied my bag, because I'm quite conscientious in the daytime when I empty, but when you're getting up at 2 and 3 in the morning to empty your bag, the last thing you think about is, oh my God, am I going to spat it up the walls? Because it happens. And so Rachel says it jumps out of the toilet bowl onto the carpet. Well, mine being quite watery, no matter what I do with it, it tends to just sort of
go everywhere.
Do the atomic bomb out of the toilet as you're emptying. So yeah, it's the amount of times I have to clean my toilet, I think, and the amount of stuff that I go through. It is pure madness, absolute madness.
My pros would have to be, yes, it saved my life. I was in, especially the superacute catheter was like horrific, and it saved me in more ways than actually saved me psychologically, emotionally. But also it's like made me connect and have a purpose and a career, and it's made me connect with all you guys. And I'm like so grateful, because I didn't think my stoma bags would not only give me my life, but they've given me hope, but they've given me so much more. Like I love myself, and I never loved myself before, and I swear it's this whole journey. So yes, it's not been easy. I've had times I've hated them, especially the prolapsed ileostomy, but I've worked through it, and I've gone through the process of accepting, do you know what, so the cards have been dealt with, let's make the most of it. And that's what I'm doing. And I think you get to a point where you think, right, let's stop the negative and victim mentality, which I was in really bad. If you guys had seen me years ago, you wouldn't recognise me, and I probably wouldn't be friends with you, because I wouldn't want to see people who were doing well, because I was in it. I didn't want to go out of it. I was stuck in I felt comfortable being in my misery of being the victim, but I'm not that anymore. And I see the growth where I've come, and I think, do you know what, you're doing all right? You know, yeah,
absolutely.
we're gonna have down days. We're gonna have down days. Like, and I get, and Steve sees me probably the most vulnerable and most nightmarish and mental with Steve. And I get stressed, and I struggle and that. But I think it's like I really want to be. I've heard a message pop up. I think it's like I just realised that it won't last. Usually it's for the day, and then I go to bed, put my head on a pillow, wake up, and it's a new day. And it's like, okay, let's start the new day. And what I found really helped me was doing a mental gratitude list at the end of the night. And I realised that soon stomas kept popping up on my gratitude list. I was thinking, well, I can wear a dress. I don't have my catheter anymore. I don't have to like have those horrific changes every like 6 weeks. And I realised that actually they start cropping up. And then the gratitude list went to all things. And when I'm feeling really down, I try to still do that gratitude list mentally to go, actually, it feels, but it's not that bad. And there are things, is hope. There's always hope. It's just trying to find the hope in yourself. There's always hope. And there's always people. If you're ever struggling, reach out to any of us, because any of us will message, because you're not alone. We are a community, and we for a reason. Thank you.
Rach, you know from like our personal chats, I was like that with my first stoma, the open wound, the constant leaks, the getting shouted at 3 and 4 in the morning because I'd effectively shit the bed and shit all over him. Well, good, he deserved it at the time. But when they said to me that they was going to do my reversal, I was so happy and I was so relieved that I would getting back to being classed as what was normal. How wrong was I 4 years after that reversal done, and I was back in having a stoma put in place. But I think the thing is not everybody is as positive, and it takes time, and it takes speaking to other people, because I can tell you now, if it wasn't for having Ben in my life, there is no way in hell I would be doing what I'm doing now, because I never had that support network the first time. It's the same as meeting all you guys and having that, because I mean, you guys know what I was like at the start about me eating and about doing things and about showing things and doing everything else. We've all just sort of brought the best out in each other. And I think when you have a solid relationship like that, and you do have solid friends within the community, it helps you. Life isn't easy. Nothing ever is. At the end of the day, what can be deemed as really bad by one of us can be deemed as not as bad by somebody else. It's just all on your personal perspective and how you go through your day and how you go through life. I think the difference is 9 times out of 10, we are all quite positive about it, even when we are having a really shitty time.
Yeah, definitely.
We laugh and joke about it, and we poke fun out of what's going wrong. So me unloading atomic bombs in the bathroom, like what I have been doing for like the last 5 months. You just laugh about it, don't you? You can't. There's nothing else that you can really do.
I found myself.
Other thing,
sorry.
No, the other thing that I did find was how helpful the community were at the weekend. I had somebody message me. They was on holiday in Nottingham, and they had sore skin. They're on holiday. They're away. I put a post up, and 9 o'clock the next morning, somebody had dropped supplies off to them to help them with their skin.
That's good.
Yeah, it is, and it's a widespread community, isn't it? I went to Western, and then I get a message saying, "Whereabouts in Western are you?" I said, "I'm on the pier." He says, "Oh, I'm on the pier," and then I didn't read his message till about an hour later, and he says, "It was my mate Mark," and he's saying, "Oh, I'm just opposite the pier now in the fish and chip shop, so I've come off the pier." And we've we greeted each other like we're best buddies, and yet we've only ever spoke online, you know. Wow. But it's really nice, you know. And he showed me his hernia. He got it out in the street, and no word of a lie, it was almost like quite a big orange hanging down. You know, it was out of the skin. It was a hernia that mine is kind of like a boob. You know, kind of like that big, but comes out, and his come out and hung down. But, you know, you wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have known. I'd have been, you know, I'm paranoid about mine. Look, when I look down, and it just shows you, know, you've just got to put your hope and faith in the surgeons. And if it doesn't work, then you try again. And if they can't fix it, you know, Rachel is testament to this. You've just got to accept. But, you know, ultimately, I think as long as you're better than you was before, that's the main one up for me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I've totally lost what I was going to say now. I was going to say something really ridiculously interesting.
No, that's okay. So I'm just having issues with the chat. I'm just trying. If you do get feedback, I'm sorry. I'm just popping the chat back out again.
I haven't got it on today because I made it too late, and then it interrupted everybody, so I left. So, but Val's just messaged me on message. So hi, Val. Val's watching.
Hi, Val. Oh, tell you what I do have to say is, Jill, I haven't forgot about you. I will message you after the show. So just in case you're watching, I haven't forgot you. All right, mate. Yeah.
Add something in. So because Steve's not having his operation, it means that he might be able to come to my awards ceremony on the 14th.
Oh, I am going to your award. There's no might about it. I'll be there. But the question is, Rachel is sharing the room with her mum. Mm-hmm. And so I'm literally going to buy my ticket and buy a hotel room, but buy a hotel room for Jill and then share with Rachel. So, but it's all, yeah, we're going to do this after the show. It'll be a lot easier.
He's got to put up with 2 juries. It's like, oh God, like we both can't make a decision.
Yeah, so I'll be the judge of that. See what I did there.
So Steve, are you going to be back in Brum for that weekend as well then, the weekend before Rachel's award ceremony?
Am I going to be?
Yeah.
Yeah, I live in Birmingham.
Well, I know you live in Birmingham, but are you going to be? Are you going to be with us?
She's fishing.
I'm fishing.
I'm going to be. I don't understand what's being asked here. So
What's the weekend before?
What's the weekend before your operation? Before your operation was due? What were you doing?
ASCN. I'll be there. I can't wait. Really looking forward to that.
Me too.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good event. I'd never really heard about it up until this year. But it's going to be.
Heard about it last year, and my friend's a wound care specialist nurse, and she went to the wound care one at the same venue.
It's mad, you know, because I wasn't. I was just sort of active online really before I met Natalie. I don't know whether it was Get Your Belly Out or Purple Wings. I think it was Get Your Belly Out, wasn't it, Nat?
No, Purple Wings first, wasn't it?
Was it really? Is that when I said to you that I wanted to come on the show as a guest?
That was Get Your Belly Out. That was Get Your Belly Out, though, wasn't it? Because it was in the.
That was Get Your Belly Out. Yeah, we'd met at Purple Wings, but it was the Get Your Belly Out when we were talking about the show.
And just time just flies, doesn't it? And when I think about what's happened in that last sort of year and a half, it's just been amazing. It's just been one big roller coaster ride, and you know, and it's still moving. You know, who knows what's around the corner?
How long had your stoma, Steve?
It'll be three years. September 19th.
Wow. Right, so you don't know where the time goes.
It goes fast, but you know what? It's been probably the best 3 years within the last sort of 20 years of my life, really. You know what I mean? Obviously, you know, I've loved the time I spent with my kids and that, but I've felt like I'm actually living again rather than just surviving, you know, because for a number of years I was really uncomfortable. I was in a difficult relationship that I didn't feel I could leave because of how poorly I was. But now I'm actually, you know, I'm able to be myself. And since I'm able to be myself, things have happened for me. Things, you know, amazing things that have happened this year.
I think the last year's been your best year ever.
It's just been, but all.
I'm so easygoing.
I was just. You're breaking up, Rach. You're breaking up. No, it has been an amazing year. It really has, and that's down to my stoma. You know, when I think about the sneeze, I did a sneeze which caused my hernia. I'd eaten all their nuts coming back from Asda. I had a blockage. The next day I sneezed. My stomach tore. The nuts left my stomach into the bag. It ripped my stomach, which caused the hernia, which caused me to trial coloplast, which caused, you know, it's cause and effect. I sort of trialed the bag, and then I did a video, and I was on the show. You know, I got on the show, went to Cardiff, went to London. All these things have happened in succession through one thing or another. And rather than let it get you down, you just got to roll with it, haven't you? And take these opportunities when they come. If you don't, I thought to myself, when the hell am I ever going to be in a calendar? Come on. This is what I thought at 44. No, at 46 with Steve. Yeah. I thought that's never going to happen. So you just got to grab this, ain't you? Yeah. You know what I mean? And one thing after another. And when it all comes to an end and it stops, I look back and think, you know, that was amazing time. You just got to embrace. And that's what all I see around now. And if you can just see one person, you know, making someone else feel nice, and you've started their little journey off. It's brilliant. I've seen it so many times with so many people. I remember talking to them when they've been in a dark place, and then you see them on the night time talking to someone else. You've all done it. I know for a fact you have. And you feel it's a warm feeling, isn't it?
It is.
We just jinxed. We said at the same time. It is a nice feeling, because it's like Lauren says at the Purple Wings last year, said about the triangle effect, and it's very similar. You support somebody else who supports somebody else.
That's the other thing, isn't it?
And Zoe Wright's having she's being reconnected, isn't she? She's having the J pouch surgery.
Really?
Yeah, that was the news, because 2 years ago, right, when I was in my when I was having my surgery, no, it was 3 years ago when I was having my surgery, I followed her, and I found her really inspiring. And she had to miss the World Championships because she had a twisted bowel. And I remember messaging her and sort of trying to offer some words of comfort, even though I was a newbie to the whole stoma world. And I remember how heartbreaking it was for her. And then she come back and she smashed it, and she's smashed it ever since. But always her bag has been on display, which has really made me feel good. You know, she's kind of like rocking the bag That's what it's all about, really, not hiding anything.
Mm-hmm.
And now, so all of them pictures she's had done over the couple of years, they're there. You know what I mean? They're out there. And then the next load of pictures will be without the bag. So, you know, I wish her all the very best. You know, she's sort of done it for that, and hopefully now she'll do exactly the same thing for people with J pouches. You know, and just cross over.
Has anybody seen? Because I've been seeing a lot recently. Is it something the Biomac or the Biomac? So they're actually putting the stoma is on the inside, and it has like a catheter outlet for the for it to come outside.
I've seen something about that the other day.
I seen something with like a magnet thing. I did.
I've missed.
Yeah, but no, it's been posted in some of the groups because some of the people have been having the surgery done. More so, I think it's people with Crohn's, and it's like a pouch, but there's something that can be done to release it. So you empty it, you empty it as if you would a stoma bag, but obviously you don't have the bag.
Wow.
You're talking about the cock pouch. The cock.
Yeah, no,
it's totally different.
There's another one similar, but I can't think of the name.
Yeah, it's called the Biomac procedure or something. I've been following it online, but it was just quite interesting. It was quite interesting to see that, you know, not everybody with those, if you do have a stoma, it may actually be on the inside and not on the outside as well.
No, I've read about the cock pouches before.
So it might just be a different procedure in the UK then.
Possibly.
It could be the same thing but gone under a different name.
Very much by many doctors, but I suppose they've got to check it out more and stuff.
I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that there is talk about this there are some surgeons starting to do it again, and I can't remember the name of it, but I know that there's. I don't know enough. I'll research it for next week. Next week I'll mention it. I know that.
Would that be for ileostomy or colostomy?
I'm not too sure, but there's been a couple of ladies that have had it done recently, and they was posting about it and their recovery and something else. I can't remember for the life of me which group it was in, but I was following the thread quite because I was quite interested, actually. Yeah, avidly. I was quite interested in it, to be fair, just to see if that does give options to other patients. But
was it in this country?
I'm not too sure what it is. Yeah, it was in this country.
There are surgeons now starting to go down this avenue, but there's even specialist centres. But I don't know enough to say anymore, so I'm going to research it because I've seen it all on Twitter, but the names are going out of my head. But I also one of the consultants was talking to me about it, and a nurse. So it's starting to roll it out. It's possibly another. I'm not sure. I don't know enough to say, but I'll research it, and then maybe Louise and I can.
That's very interesting, that, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm intrigued. I have to admit, I am intrigued because you never know where medical science is going to go in the next sort of 10, 15 years. But at the same time, I'm like,
it'd be almost like the bag was inside, and where your stone would be like a cap kind of thing.
They put it down quite close to the pubic area. It's done quite low down. So obviously I think that would also be dependent on your case and what you've got in there and why they're giving it and that sort of thing. Because I'm just intrigued, obviously, from the Crohn's side of things, because obviously I know how extreme Crohn's can be with the fact that it goes all the way through, and when you have stuff taken out, it can still jump. So I was quite intrigued by it, to be fair, to see what's they classed it as for what patients to use it under, if that makes sense. So I really should not be up at 2 in the morning reading that stuff and then forgetting about it because I go to sleep. So I think pros and cons with the stoma is it's anybody's bag, really, I suppose. I think
fun.
Right, the
anybody's bag. Nice.
Anybody's bag.
Nice. Respect.
I'm on fire this evening. I think it's just how you pave your journey and how you decide to view life and go through it. I mean, there's some lovely people that have been through hell and back, and they don't complain or moan about what they're going through, and they help other people, and there's just, I think the community, I think once you found the community and you found your fit in it, I think once you've got that group of friends, they can get you through so much.
Definitely. I think one of the main cons, would be leaks. That would be higher. That would be like in the 90%. So, but then, you know, obviously what you're saying about the community, there's that many bags out there for different people. We've all proven it. We all advocate for a different company.
That's right.
That suits us. Now, not one of us would be advocating for them companies if they didn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they didn't work for us. And it just proves that it's such a diverse community and everyone has different problems. But there's going to be someone out there with a similar problem to you, and things are worth trying. Obviously, get advice through your stoma nurse, but you shouldn't have to go through leaks and leaks and leaks. You shouldn't have to. Maybe in the very start, when you first start with your stoma, but after a while, and you know what's out there, you know, and that's what these groups are all about. Really, is just learning. I think.
I think with the leaks, I think for the majority of people, I think once you found the product and the right combination of what you use for your bag change, so your seals, the barrier creams, everything else, I think once you found the right combination, you'll be absolutely fine. There are the rare few that might have skin issues, so obviously psoriasis, or that they, you know, problems with after sepsis and everything else, that may not be able to find relief from those leaks. But for those of you that can, it is just about trying whatever you can with the advice and going via your stoma nurse to see what works for you.
Yeah.
Everyone's gone quiet.
It's mad because everyone wants to talk at the same time, and then all of a sudden there's a gap. There's a gap, and I've got to have to write some little ditties for these gaps, you know, when they happen, because I'm sitting there just like everyone else.
I will have to ask though, obviously, and Steve and Graham, this isn't a dig at you two about hair, just FYI before I say this, but everybody, obviously, Rachel, you've had a lot of surgery done. Graham, you've had surgery. Nat, you've had surgery. All of us have had surgery and prolonged steroid use, antibiotics, medications, immunosuppressants. How many of you have suffered hair loss because of that?
Yeah, me.
Yep.
I don't think mine's to do with that, though, to be fair.
I don't mean just head hair, love.
No. Sorry?
I know nothing. I'm talking about myself.
No, I don't think obviously the steroid use, the main thing for me with steroids was my eyes. My you know, reading now, I'm really struggling. I have to wear glasses for reading, like back of tablet bottles. Even Facebook. Yeah. And you know what? When I went to have my eyes tested, the optometrist said, when they did that test and they look into your eyes and stuff and they blow the little air in, she said to me, "Do you have IBD?" And she knew before I even told her. Like, she said she's seen other patients, similar patients with similar problems through steroid use.
Wow.
So yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
Crazy.
It's mad because mine always goes at the back. Mine is at the back. You know, like you get the baby hair that comes down from like here downwards, and I get bald patches. It's why sometimes if you see me, especially after I've had surgery, why my hair's cropped so short at the back, because I have to just sort of have it all cut off and just start again.
I used to have clumps come out in the shower. Not really gaps, but I used to have clumps. It was when I was having when I had the eight full abdominal surgeries in like a year and a half or 2 years. I can't remember the time frame. When I had that, it really took effect on my body, and I found that I had clumps of hair because I was on TPN quite a lot, because every time they did the surgery, the stoma would stop working every time they touched my bowel. So I think it was kind of the in and out of all the medication. I found that affected my hair, but I've never been on steroids because I don't have IBD. So that's I've not had that. You know, luckily I haven't had that kind of. I think I have been on a small dose when I was in hospital at some point, but I haven't really been on for much of it. I had ammonia once, intensive care, but I haven't really been on it long term like you guys have. And I'm grateful because I haven't had that side of the treatment, you know, and how it affects the whole body and the side effects that you get. You know, I'm kind of grateful in that respect.
I mean, Nat, do you find with the methotrexate and the azathioprine and stuff like that you lose hair more frequently?
Because methotrexate I started about 16 years ago now. When I read the side effects, my doctors were quite good. I'd had them since being a baby, so I'd grown up with them. My rheumatologist and my paediatrician did their joint clinics together, and I was sort of 14 or 15 when I went on methotrexate, and by then they were sort of giving me a little bit more control over my care, although inevitably my mum still had the decision to make. They gave me the information sheet when they wanted me to start it, and it said on there hair loss as a side effect. I was like, came back to them, slammed this sheet of paper down. I was like, I'm not taking it. I'm having my hair fall out. And they were like, oh, look, like these side effects, it could happen to one person. And obviously at the time as well, I didn't know it was a chemotherapy drug. They didn't go into that with me. So obviously in higher doses, people having it for chemotherapy for cancer, then hair loss is a bit more of a what's it. But so I've always, since been on that, I've always lost more than normal people. Sort of when brushing it or washing it, more comes out.
Do you have yours for your arthritis predominantly?
Methotrexate was for my arthritis at first, yeah, because I wasn't diagnosed with the Crohn's for so long.
Okay.
And then
is it working?
Methotrexate, yeah.
Yeah.
It worked on its own. I think I was about 19 when I had to start biologics as well alongside. It worked on its own for about 4 or 5 years, and then now I have to have both.
Yeah, same.
Together.
Natalie, can I just say something from an outside point of view of IBD? You know, most people have IBD, then they have the arthritis that can come with it due to like the side effect. You had the arthritis before then, the Crohn's, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yours is like, it's a different arthritis, isn't it?
Yeah, mine's juvenile idiopathic arthritis. So mine behaves as rheumatoid, but it's still classed as juvenile because I was like, what were you still calling it that for? But because I've had it since being a baby, it's an autoimmune disease rather than just the arthritis that people get when they're older.
Yeah.
It's a disease. It's not just wearing of the joints or anything like that. It's an actual sort of.
People with juvenile arthritis, are they more chance to get IBD like Crohn's or colitis?
Don't think so.
Okay, so there is another.
It was never discussed with me. I mean, my bowel problem started when I was like 8 or 9 in junior school, and I remember they did an ultrasound, but then they didn't really want to do too many invasive tests, and they just put it down to the medication I was on. But they never thought of investigated IBD. They did do blood tests for celiacs, but it never came up that IBD could be an issue. So I don't think it's like a.
See, it's weird because in my teens I had glandular fever. That's something rotten. Every 6 months I'd come down with it for 2 or 3 months, and I was always really bad with stomach bugs. Really bad. They'd laid me up for 2-3 weeks at a time. But it took them a long time to diagnose me as well because they said I was anorexic.
See, now when I look back, well, I went through a stage of, because obviously I used to have to go to regular clinics for my arthritis. I'd always be weighed and measured. And I remember going through a stage in my early teens of losing a lot of weight. Now looking back, I think, oh, it's probably my bowel. But at the time, they were like stressing about me being anorexic and all sorts. But things I know in junior school, for 1 year, I think it was my 5th year, year 5, I ended up on like half days at school. I had a lot of time off. Then I had to go back and just do half days. It was just exhausting and it was really, really tough. And now to think like what I went through before I had my stoma and the flare-ups I had then and how ill I felt, I think, God, like I was going through all that time. And
the school supported through
school were really good. School, to be fair, were always really good. My OTs always went into school and made sure everything was set up arthritis wise, especially for me. I often had to wear splints and stuff, and often they were just at night time, but sometimes I had to wear them all the time. So I know for most of year 4 I had a wrist and arm splint on, so I had to learn to write with my left hand and stuff. But no, they were really good. My GCSEs, I got like extra time in my exams and things, so because obviously I can't write, it was like 2-hour English exams. which ended up being 2.5 hours, but it meant I could take a break. And
I did as well.
I got to go in a little room with a couple of others. One had broken their arm, so they were obviously having to write with not their normal arm, and somebody else had something else. And they used to make us cups of tea and all sorts while we had our GCSEs. It was great.
I used to have the same that because I've got dyslexia, so I had extra time as well for my GCSE and A levels. And I like that because it's in a smaller room and you're not in the hall with everybody.
Yeah, with everybody else. And there was just 3 of us that were having the extra time, and there was normally a couple of different members of staff. But yeah, they used to go and make us cups of tea. And
I was in a room on my own doing mine.
I remember my English lit GCSE because you used to get the poetry notebook that you'd make notes in like for the last 2 years to take in with you. I did take mine in with me that day, and they gave me one, and I sat there. I was so lucky because I still come out with a B, but I was just like, I was sitting in there for 2 hours, racking my brains trying to think of what I wrote in the annotations at the side of the bloody notebooks.
See, poetry was a bit squiff for me. I always loved English and English lit. I got A's in my English exams, but poetry was always a bit.
See, my school tried to talk us out of doing the GCSEs.
Oh, really?
They didn't think I was up to it because how unwell I was. And I insisted that I go through with it.
Yeah.
And I just passed. But they tried everything to stop us from doing it. And
Was that GCSEs?
For another year.
GCSEs, yeah.
Wait till the time of the exams next year. So it would put you back a whole year, wouldn't it? To try.
Well, I had already stayed on school an extra year because I went to a special school. And they didn't really push exams to the people. It was all trying to get them to walk, talk, things like that. And I was the only one that was pushing for a full education.
Yeah.
And all they kept saying was, in the months up to the exams, it's best if you pull out because you're not well and this, that and the other. And I refused. And it says, oh, you'll only fail if you go through it. Why go through it all? But no, once again, I proved them wrong.
Yeah, resilience, isn't it?
It is.
Probably the thought of doing another year as well.
I can understand why they don't want to emphasise exams too much in that sort of environment, but at the same time, surely it should be based on each individual pupil rather than.
Yeah.
We're way over.
I know. I just want to check.
Big Brother.
Yeah, I was going to say, Graham's going, Big Brother's on now.
Oh my God.
I just hope, sorry, I had to go and empty my bag. It was really full, but I didn't want to interrupt. I hope you didn't hear me flush my toilet because I still have my headphones in.
You're not watching Big Brother, are you, Graham?
Oh, I love this.
Oh, mate. Oh, dear me. We're going to have a little private chat, ain't we?
Oh, yeah. Big one.
In Australia.
As long as it's not on a Tuesday or a Thursday.
Okay, so we've overrun, but we'd like to say thank you ever so much for watching. A big thank you to Graham for joining us when I messaged him at half 7 and he said I need to go and stick some clothes on.
Yes.
Fair play to you, Graham.
We wear our pajamas on there all the time.
Yeah, I'm in me Harry Potters tonight. But no, thank you everyone for watching, and thanks to you guys for joining us. It's good to be back.
Thank you.
And we'll see you all again next week, and we'll have some more news on that procedure thing.
Big shout out to Steffi.
Yeah.
And also, if anybody's got any suggestions for topics, because we've kind of done a lot of them now in the last year and a bit, so we need some suggestions.
We're gonna have to go back to the start, I think.
I'll message you in a bit, Jill. All right.
But no, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again next week.
Bye bye.
Bye.